Now that we got everything going, took us long enough.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris Linskins.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Cap sucks.
You're the best, Chris.
Linskins for president. Okay, not that far, but like at least for studio guy.
No, this recording isn't
muted.
After all that. Start talking.
What up?
Hi. This is the Sports Recap.
Hi.
Here on Marquette Radio, MarquetteWire.org. I'm Chris Sikora here with Mike Curran, Nick Capitan.
This is our radio show now.
Let's start it.
This is our radio show now. It's not.
This is the Sports Recap on Marquette Radio, MarquetteWire.org. You'll get your names first. Chris Sikora, Mike Curran, and Nick Capitan.
Yeah.
Talking a lot of different sports today. We will be joined by a whole host of guests. Kent Babb from the Washington Post, who wrote an article, a feature on Buzz Williams, will be joining us in a matter of moments. Cody Fajardo, who is a quarterback prospect from Nevada, he'll be joining us in about 20 minutes. Donnie Carr, who is the mentor for Marquette's newest recruit, Tracy Carter, will be joining us at 7. And Andrew Greif of the Oregonian, who covered Marcus Mariota, will be talking about Mariota and what he sees as his weaknesses and his strengths. Packed show today, boys.
I love it.
I'm
You guys
ready.
excited?
Happy
All right.
St. Patty's Day.
Happy
everyone.
St. Patrick's Day, boys. This is the 4-year anniversary when I got hit by a drunk driver. Hope you guys all celebrate that tonight.
I will.
Wow, did not know that.
Yeah, it's a little insight.
I'll go in later on into the show. But we are now joined by the sports features writer for the Washington Post, Kent Babb. Kent, thanks for joining us tonight. How are you? We appreciate you coming on. You can follow Kent on Twitter at KentBABB. So, Kent, you wrote about a week ago about Buzz Williams and kind of evaluating him after his first year at Virginia Tech. So with Buzz, with what Buzz told you and what you gauged from being around him, why do you think he did, in fact, leave Marquette for Virginia Tech?
Ken, Chris Sikora here. How you doing? Good. One additional piece of information Marquette fans wonders.
Sorry, Kent. So one information Chris was talking about is, could you pick up on anything during your time at Virginia Tech? Like, did he say anything about Marquette, as in why he kind of, if he has any problems with Marquette as a program, or if he kind of doesn't, if he has any animosity, would be a good word to describe what we're trying to get across.
Sorry.
Hey, what question did you ask? Question. What question? Remind me, everyone?
But
Control yourself. Relax. Don't let.
Kent, it seems like Buzz is more direct nowadays compared to when he, put on more of a cheerful front when he was here at Marquette. How do his players perceive him as a coach and a human being at Virginia Tech?
Really? And that's our last question for you, Kent. Is do you think that Virginia Tech is going to start winning in the near future? And if we were to talk 5 years from now, do you think that Buzz would have achieved one of his goals and made an NCAA tournament with Virginia Tech?
Yeah.
Ken, we appreciate your time and thanks so much for giving us an insight into what Buzz Williams is like at Virginia Tech. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
He is Kent Babb, the sports features writer at the Washington Post. You can follow him on Twitter at KentBABB. It was a good interview, good insight into what Buzz Williams is like nowadays at Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. And one thing that he mentioned at the end is when we were talking about the 5-year goal, and they're still in the ACC. They still have to, like you said, you have to play Duke, North Carolina, Virginia,
right,
and even like Miami. I mean, Miami has those times that they have their stints of being a really good team. I mean, they had Shane Larkin, 2 years ago. So, and yet they're the second seed in the NIT, so they're still a pretty good team. And so, when you're facing Duke, who's the number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, and North Carolina, who's I think a 4, and and Virginia's a 2. So you have those 3 kind of I'll say powerhouses. I mean, Duke and North Carolina have always been up there, and Virginia's kind of just reaching that level, and I don't see them going anywhere. Anywhere anytime soon. So, dropping off that drastically, and still there's North Carolina State. There's Georgia Tech.
Yeah,
all those teams, and I think that it's just a struggle sometimes.
I think it's something too where you can never say that Buzz left here because he wanted to win, because he wanted to win at Virginia Tech. Because if you look at how the Big East Conference is made up nowadays, Buzz would have been able to win year after year if he stayed here and the parts that he had.
Oh, yeah.
If you think about the guys that transferred this year, like Deontay Burton, John Dawson, Tom Mayo probably wouldn't have left. This team would have made an NCAA tournament. This team would have made an NCAA tournament this year. So you're trying to define the reason, and it's kind of one of those questions that nobody will know the answer to ever until he actually sits down and opens up and says, "This is the exact reason why I left Marquette." Because that's what people will say. You can give these generic answers on why you leave Marquette, but Buzz will never give you that one instance that pushed him over the top.
Yeah, plus I think at Virginia Tech, Buzz needs to get his players there. He needs to get recruiting there, but then, like you said, Mike said, it was tough when you're going up against Duke, Carolina, NC State, because they were also vying for the players in the same region. And at this point, I mean, if I was a semi-decent recruit, 4-star maybe, maybe not even 5, I would pick Carolina, Duke, NC State, Miami way before I would pick
Virginia Tech. And I think that's one of those the name thing. Just dropping the name, saying, "Oh, I go to North Carolina. I play basketball for North Carolina, or I play basketball at Duke." It's just one of those things. It's one of those things that you have, John Calipari say, "I'm going to get you in the NBA." If I will tell you straight up that it will not. You will not make the NBA right out of your first year, and that's one of the things.
Exactly, and there's a lot to talk about, and we'll continue to talk about it at the other end of this break. We are going to be joined by Cody Fajardo, who is a quarterback prospect from Nevada in this year's draft. This is the Sports Recap on Market Radio, marketwire.org. Sports Recap, this is Nick. Hey, Cody, how you doing today? Good. So just so our hosts know, your last name is pronounced Fajardo? Fajardo. Okay, perfect. Appreciate it, Cody. We'll have you on in about a minute if that's all right. All right, thanks, Cody.
Fajardo. Sorry.
You're going to have it written. Fajardo.
That was one of the best.
I tried to be a hero because I throw in "Hey, how you doing?" and I got Cat looking right at me, and I'm trying to talk the question.
It's recorded.
And I hear myself I started laughing, and I was like, I can't finish the question. Go, Cat.
No, it was just the fact that it just. You start out and I see just a dead man walk and just you can't finish your sentence.
No, I was silent.
And I felt bad because I started laughing too, so it was.
Enough with the try to throw in the intro. I'll just pull a mic and act like professional. Just ask the question. I want him to know why. Remember the name.
Hold on, we gotta start this.
Is this kid like a good prospect, Cat? Or?
Yeah. Hold on, our mics are gonna be on. This is the Sports Recap on Market Radio, marketwire.org. Nick Capitan, Chris Sikora, and Mike Kern. And we are now joined by a NFL draft quarterback prospect hailing from Nevada, Cody Fajardo. Cody, how are you today? Doing well. We appreciate you taking some time tonight for us. So, Cody, can you start by explaining to us where you're at kind of in the draft process and preparing for the draft in a couple months?
Cody, there are many people in the Midwest and East Coast that may have not had the chance to see you play very often. For those people, how would you describe your game, and what style of quarterback would you say you are?
Cody, a big critic of quarterbacks with your type of skill set. You said you're a dual quarterback, dual skilled, and that's one of the bad tendencies. To tuck it and run. What's one thing that you've been working on this off season to kind of prevent that from happening in the NFL? Yep.
And Cody, kind of going off of the style of quarterback that you are, when you look at NFL offenses, is there one in particular that you look at and you say, wow, I'd be a perfect fit in there? Or do you think you can kind of change your game to the offense that you get drafted into?
Cody, two-part question for you. What is your favorite part about being a quarterback, and what was the most challenging part about being a college quarterback at Division I program? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We are joined by Cody Fajardo, who was a quarterback at Nevada. You can follow him on Twitter at Cody, Fajardo 17. Cody, there's been a lot of news recently this offseason about a lot of players who are in their prime leaving the game of football because of concussion problems. Is that something that you look at when you're starting your NFL career, or is your mindset just let's get the ground running and let's see how long I play in the league?
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Cody, last question before we let you go. Let's say you make it 10 years down the road, and where would you like to be at that time in your NFL career? of course. Multiple, probably, right? Yeah.
You made a lot of Packers fans happy with that Brett Favre comment, Cody. We appreciate your time today, and best of luck with everything with the draft and with your NFL career. And hopefully we can talk with you again down the road. Thanks, Cody. Appreciate it. Cody Fajardo, who is the former quarterback at Nevada. You can follow him on Twitter at Cody, FAJARDO17. Wow. I was impressed with just what he had to say, just his maturity. It's we lucked out the past 2 years with the prospects that we've been able to get. Pierre Desir last year, now Cody this year. And you just see that just is why, kind of what Segura was saying, how he was a quarterback and like how he said that one of his favorite parts was leadership and being turned to. And you can tell that he's got that maturity. And that's something, again, is not comparing him just because they went to the same school. But you look at Colin Kaepernick and you look at Cody, and you see Cody as a much more stand-up, mature guy, and you look at Colin Kaepernick, you're like, yeah, okay, he's got some problems on.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that you kind of look at, that from what I've experienced, talking, because Green Bay is not the biggest city in the world, so I know Packer organization kind of people, and talking to them and, getting their insight on everything, and they look at more of the maturity level and like kind of the psychological tests that they have, and that's a big importance other than the physical aspect, just because you don't want them to get in trouble off season. Like this year people have had even during the season before this last season there were a lot of off the field issues, Ray Rice, Adrian Peterson kind of things, but yet the little stuff too, getting into trouble like Johnny Manziel, all that kind of stuff, and you kind of want that down to earth kind of guy, but yet have a personality, especially in a leadership role. I mean, I'm just thinking Peyton Manning has a personality.
Right.
I mean, he does the Papa John's commercials, and it's kind of the funny thing.
Sure.
But yet, if you ask any NFL quarterback or any NFL player, and like, who do you not want to face? It's Peyton Manning, because he prepares and he knows everything about your defense.
Well, then the one position on the football field that I think you have to have the most IQ or intelligence would be the quarterback. You have the decision making, you have to go through different wide receivers. Mm-hmm. If you're a defensive end, the only real goal is to get past the offensive lineman and get to the quarterback. Running back, just run as fast as you can, not get tackled. And I think a more mature quarterback, like Cody was, really has an advantage at the position, making reads and doing at the line.
Sure. And you guys, with both of your descriptions, you described the guy that people compare him to in the NFL. Yeah. They would compare him to Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
It's a guy that has made his name in the NFL and has played for so many years because of his quarterback IQ. He's not the most gifted quarterback in the world. We're not saying Cody's a Marcus Mariota or Jameis Winston, but the reason why people think he can get drafted anywhere from the 4th to the 7th round is because he's got what Ryan Fitzpatrick has, and he's got great football IQ. And that's something that gets taken for granted. Everyone wants to talk about people's physical ability, but it's that mental ability that also has to be taken into account.
And that's one of the things, you see Tom Brady get drafted in the 6th round.
Right.
And look what he is. He has, 4.
Cody's going to become Tom Brady when
I mean, I'll say it right now. You heard it here first. But no, I mean, one of the things that they say about him is that he has great pre-snap recognition. And that's one of the things that it goes into the classroom. You read the defense, and yet you can change the play to hot reads or anything.
Yeah, limit the mistakes.
Yeah. Definitely. So we're going to take another commercial break, and at the other end, we were going to dive more into the NFL and give our take on the whole Chip Kelly saga, what he's doing, restructuring the whole Philadelphia Eagles roster, and then at 7 o'clock we'll be joined by Donnie Carr, Tracy Carter's mentor and AAU coach. This is the Sports Recap on Marquette Radio, marquettewire.org.
I like him.
I'm pulling for Cody Fajardo.
Yeah.
What a guy! That's good
Fajardo.
shit, man.
Seems like a real nice guy.
Yeah. I mean, when he does a college.
What is he? Is he in college? He kind of looks like him.
Yeah, he does.
What a good guy.
What is his movement?
Hey, this gets it again. He texted me first, so thank you. Ready for this? Hey, Nick. Thank you for taking... Oh, my God. Hey, Nick, thank you for taking the time to talk ball with me. I appreciate the opportunity. If you need anything else, don't hesitate to call/text. Thanks again. Best, Cody Fajardo. Look at this shit.
That's awesome.
Whoa, baby. This isn't even me, it's a text.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, so it just says was banged up most of 2013. Shuffles to the edge of the pocket to fear passing, pressure. Yeah. Takes extra step in to throw.
Sounds like you didn't have that much of an offensive line.
Yeah.
What are they saying? Oh, yeah. I think he'd be like a quarterback with like
Yeah.
put in the extra hours.
Well, and that's the thing, because when you're thinking he's gonna get fourth to the seventh round, it's not he's not gonna just get thrown in there.
Right.
He's gonna have time to just adapt to the NFL and play some preseason games. And it's just gonna be one of those things that they don't just actually throw him out there like they do for top round picks.
Right. Yeah, get like a good mentoring.
Yeah, I mean, if you even look at the Packers, you had Aaron Rodgers who got drafted in the first round, but he didn't play for 3 years.
Right. Or you feel like Geno Smith is
Yeah, exactly. I mean, RG3 that it's just they didn't have the right offense for him. I mean, the first year he was just kind of took it by storm, but then the second year he got injured.
Yeah, but recent quarterbacks for the first time haven't done as well.
I mean, other than the Andrew Luck,
Yeah.
Because I mean, Blaine Gabbert, like.
I'm sorry, but every time I hear or see the word name,
What is so bad?
I'm just saying, I go, thanks for sticking with us through the technical difficulties. That's what
Yeah, I was gonna say, if I got a chance to ask another question,
No, you're done.
I would have been, like, hey,
Yeah.
sorry for the last question. I had a little technical difficulties, but I probably wouldn't have held it through that. So, sorry. Try to be a
Hey,
hero.
you gotta do whatever you
Try
gotta
to be a
do.
hero, and that's what happens.
Oh, man.
Hey Nick, can we keep going all through hour 30 without any breaks?
No.
You need breaks.
I need breaks to set this all up.
No, if we didn't have any guests.
Oh, yeah, we can do it.
I didn't know the
Sure.
rules.
Oh, no, yeah. If there are any rules that we always break them.
Alright, sounds good. Let's go. I'm ready.
I'm ready. You ready?
Chip Kelly.
What are we talking about?
Chip Kelly. For 15 minutes.
He says, no problem, thanks for having me on. Okay.
I'm gonna say Donnie Carr, how you doing? No, I feel like you would just love it. Black guy just killing it.
I feel like he'd be the guy that was like, remember the Alabama A&M? There's like said cats or something. And I got.
Yeah, what is he was calling in / message on Twitter?
Oh, so that's supposed to mean like how I'm supposed to contact him.
Oh, okay. Did Marquette get any bid to anything?
This is the sports recap on Marquette Radio, MarquetteWire.org. Nick Capitan, Chris Sikora, and Mike Curran. We're going to continue on the topic of the NFL and talk about Chip Kelly and the moves that he has made over the course of the past 2 weeks. And, of course, the big moves is getting rid of LaShawn McCoy, getting rid of Nick Foles, acquiring Sam Bradford and DeMarco Murray. My first question to the panel of experts is, would you rather have Sam Bradford and DeMarco Murray or Nick Foles and LaShawn McCoy? Sakura, start us off.
Sam Bradford and DeMarco Murray. Because DeMarco Murray last season was the leading rusher in the NFL. Sam Bradford, he's not that bad when he's not banged up. I think he could do okay. And then also you got Ryan Matthews there, so you got two backs there who can do work. So,
well, the thing is that you look at LaShawn McCoy and you're thinking, wow, he is a dynamic running back. I mean, you can throw it to him, you can just hand it off and just make him work. Just run around. There are so many times that he made defenses look just stupid because of how quick he is, and half the time he's running back and forth, and then he runs for 50 yards. So, when going back to that question, I would rather have LaShawn McCoy, and just for that reason, he's just, you don't see DeMarco Murray, catching the ball as much, in Dallas, just because I think they just had a different offense. And I think LaShawn McCoy would fit Chip Kelly's offense a lot better. And with Sam Bradford, I think they just needed something else. And it's not that Sam Bradford's not, a bad quarterback. I think he's a great quarterback. It's just, the Rams were just kind of iffy at times.
Sure.
And, their offensive line was beat up, so that means he was beat up. And so I think it'll just take time, just because he's not like the running quarterback that Chip Kelly probably wants. And that's really all I have to say about that.
I think it's also, though, my problem with Sam Bradford and DeMarco Murray is you got two guys who are injury prone. Nick Foles and LaShawn McCoy aren't injury prone. They don't have a track record of and it's not injuries like a shoulder injury. It's ACL problems. It's injuries that if it happens again,
it's a hand,
right?
You have a hand problem with a running back,
right?
But,
it's something like
fumble.
It's something like with the Derrick Rose, where we see with Derrick Rose, where you see how his production goes down every time he has an injury. And DeMarco Murray, everyone says, well, look at him, how he has his first complete season, and he just dominates the league. Well, that's one full season. He's only had one full season where he's actually dominated. So you're banking on DeMarco Murray doing that, and you're banking on Sam Bradford, who's never had a good year. Never had a good year from start to finish. So I would definitely have I would definitely have Foles and McCoy, then Murray and Bradford. And my whole problem moving forward with this whole debate is I have a problem with people saying that Chip Kelly is purposely ruining the Philadelphia Eagles. That he's the one who, first off, he's the head coach. He's also charged with player personnel and these guys that he brings in. No coach is going to purposely tank like that, especially when you have such studs on both sides of the ball.
I think you would have tanked last year.
Yeah,
so then he could get Mariota and get his prime quarterback that he wanted. And don't forget they have Darren Sproles still. He's still the second guy, before Ryan Matthews and DeMarco Murray. He's still that quick guy that, it would fit Chip Kelly's offense. But, like you said, I don't think he's going to be tanking for a reason.
No. And it's the whole thing about with Chip Kelly, how people think, oh, you know what, he's taken over this organization. This is why you don't give the head coach this much control of a team. But it's like, Chip Kelly's trying to implement the same offense that he had at Oregon into the NFL. Like he's a pioneer with what he's trying to do. And of course, everybody who tries these new techniques, everyone's going to think that they're going to fall. Everybody thinks that they're going to just automatically, oh, this is a stupid move. What the heck is he doing? And Stephen A. Smith, probably with one of the stupidest comments I've ever heard in the world, were saying that it was about race that he got rid of the guys. Like, that was ridiculous. Like, he's saying that, because they're brothers, that's why they get rid of them and stuff. Like, that's why LaShawn McCoy's gone, why Deshaun Jackson a year ago was gone, why Jeremy Macklin's not with the Eagles. That is just preposterous and idiotic. And I get it with those two guys, with Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith, and they're supposed to say off-the-wall comments just to spark debate. Yeah. But there's a difference between an off-the-wall comment and then just
playing the race card.
Right, and playing the race card. Ludicrous.
Yeah.
Playing the race card.
And I really don't think that's going to be a racist kind of thing. I mean, that's just kind of, like you said, it was off the wall kind of thing to spark, controversy. And I don't think that will be anything. I just think it's more he wants to change the game. not a lot of people, not a lot of NFL teams have 80 plays a game. Like they average like 85 or something
Right.
like that.
Mhm.
And there was one time that they had, I think, 97 plays in one game. And so that's just ridiculous.
Right.
And I think he's going to change the way that the NFL is going to be like, because you already see that the traditional running back going away.
Right.
It's a short-lived. If you're a running back, your career is short-lived.
Right.
You already knew that. You see it 8 years or so, just because when you get 300 carries, you get tackled usually 300 times.
And people don't realize that Chip Kelly's not the first one to do this. Like it's guys like Bill Belichick when Bill Belichick started off when he was with the Browns, and people thought, oh, you know what, Bill Belichick changed his whole thing when he went from the Browns to the Patriots. No, he didn't. He did the same exact thing. It's just the personnel that he was given. He took chances. Like what he did with having Drew Bledsoe and then giving Tom Brady the reins. And then you look at this and you look at a local guy for us, and Jimmy Garoppolo, who you see people are saying he could be the next Tom Brady. He could be that type of guy if he's molded under Belichick the way that he has been. And Tom Brady, if you look at what he's like, what he was like in the combine where people made fun of him for his height and his weight, it doesn't matter what you're built like. Like we talked with Cody, it doesn't matter what your skill set is. If you're in the right system, you can thrive, not for years in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Going back to Sam Bradford, saw on Twitter today, NFL on ESPN, that the Browns offered their 19th pick overall in the first round for Sam Bradford. I'm wondering, do you think Chip will take that pick and their first round pick, move up and get Mariota, throw him in that offense?
That's true. But I mean, I don't think I would, get rid of Nick Foles for that.
I agree though with I think Secori's on to something. I think that Sam Bradford is a piece you trade. I think it's something that you got to get rid of. So it would be the Browns would get Sam Bradford then?
For the 19th pick, and then I forget which pick the Eagles have. Somewhere
Eagles
in the
have
teens, I think.
No, they're 20 something.
Okay.
But
Because they just missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I think that Mariota has a chance to drop that far, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's a package of Sam Bradford to a team that's in the top 10 to get him, because it's something where I don't see Sam Bradford making any sense in Chip Kelly's offense. When you're literally transforming your team to fit the way that you play football, Sam Bradford does not fit in that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
He just doesn't.
Yeah. So the Eagles have the 20th pick,
Okay.
and the Browns would have the 12th. Actually, no, they'd be trading the Buffalo one, so that it'd be 19th. So they'd have the 19th and 20th pick traded away for Mariota.
So it'd be Sam. Okay.
If they traded Bradford to the Browns, they would have the 19th overall pick, and then they would have their actual overall pick of the 20th. So they'd have back-to-back picks in the first round, which, if you don't do something with that, then
You have to. You have to.
Especially when you don't have a quarterback.
Exactly. We're going to be joined by Donnie Carr, Tracy Carter, Marquette's newest recruits, mentor, and AAU coach. He'll be joining us at the other end of this break. This is the Sports Recap on Marquette Radio, marquettewire.org. What a rocky start that's transformed into a good show.
They have. Kiko Alonso, though, he's pretty good linebacker.
I like you going on, though.
What my money
Did you hear Bo Ryan on TV?
What he said.
He's talking about Kaminsky. He's saying, high IQ guy. Does all the right things.
Did you see Kaminsky's interview on TV?
Yeah.
I don't think he's as entertaining as people say he is. Like, that was a shitty interview.
Pretty dry, yeah.
He was like, I was talking to think his name's Andrew. He was Bus's friend. He's Bus's friend that came for Bus's birthday. And he goes to Wisconsin. He's a big DP fan too. I'm talking to him. I go, like, why do people love Kaminsky so much? Did you see the DP interview? And he goes, yeah, that wasn't one of his best interviews. He was probably drunk as fuck or high or something.
How about that trade with Seattle?
Jimmy Graham
Graham?
That's huge.
First round pick.
and an offensive lineman.
Like they.
It was really good off the line.
Yeah, Max Unger.
Center, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
center, yeah.
The Cowboys are trying to go after AG. I mean, they need somebody. I don't even know who they're all.
I think AP would be a much bigger upgrade than DeMarco Murray.
Oh yeah.
Plus, he's running angry.
Oh
Since
yeah,
he's
he's
out the
running.
whole season,
And it's not like he's bad. Like he's not, it's not like Adrian Peterson's been on the
Yeah,
decline.
He almost had like 3,000 yards.
They had
Yeah.
the 27th pick.
Cool.
Cowboys.
Yeah, because they made.
Yeah. So I would, because the Vikings are expecting like 2 first-round picks.
Right. So.
Like you give like the 27th pick. Like at least it's not like a shitty year.
But with Adrian Peterson, I think that the Vikings want to get rid of him. Like they don't have as much leverage as people think because they just want to get rid of him because he's just a PR nightmare going in this year when he starts playing.
Thing is, all they have to do is pick up a dog and they won't talk about it, like the Brewers did. Right?
That's what you got to do.
Right?
Hank, he's the
Hank?
biggest PR greatness
Yeah,
right there.
that's greatness. Whoever, I don't even know who the PR guy for the Brewers is, but kudos to him.
Huge.
Or her. That's, I don't know. But, like, that was genius.
Oh, what?
Because you have the whole Braun situation, and then, oh, here comes this dog that they rescued.
I love when I went to spring training and I was at a Brewers game, and you see like old men wearing like the Hank
Yeah.
K9
shirts. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It was really, really ridiculous. And he came to Admirals game. Yeah, he dropped the puck.
Oh my. That's big.
Yeah.
Does it all.
Which, by the way, Saturday, Foreigner's coming.
Is
You
he?
guys want some?
Wow, another.
Who are they playing?
I don't know.
They're playing the Wolves.
Hey,
He was Big Sean is.
like another. These after game contests.
They have 2 more.
I was Kurt.
Oh, he was awesome.
I'm sure.
Texas Stars.
There's literally a singer here, Vagina Panther.
Are we gay?
I don't know. This is what just popped up.
Dude, you guys do Doodle Bowl? Doodle Bowl.
Oh yeah, I've played it before.
Hilarious
Yeah.
and awesome game.
Come on, Donnie.
So are we like back in the? We can get back in the air and talk.
Yeah.
1 second.
Walk
Just
around.
to have us go.
Fine.
Can we talk about? I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah,
Talk about Marquette.
No, we're not.
You got it. We're talking Marquette with a guest. What do you want to do?
That was a strike. iPod apps.
Fine.
No. We'll talk Marquette.
You can talk whatever you want.
Hey,
iPod.
all the listeners, they want to hear something.
You told them this.
This is our time. We should go to school.
You're totally right. We should. All right, welcome back to the sports recap, and nothing's on because Nick messed up the. Nick, turn on
Did you tweet at the guy?
All right, you're doing the intro, the welcome back
the.
to Sports Recap. Ready?
No, hurry up. Welcome back to the sports recap. This is Mike Curran. Welcome listeners. This is sports recap. Like I said, we got Nick Capitan in the building.
I'm always in the building.
Chris Sikora, Mike Curran here. We're having some difficulties trying to get our other.
Do you know who we're having on?
Yeah, we're gonna have Donnie Carr.
Yes, we are.
He's Tracy Carter's mentor.
Yes, he is.
Which, if you didn't know, Tracy Carter is our new recruit.
Yes, he is.
So, back off.
Back off. Nobody can have him now. So, Mike, because that smooth intro you just had, what is your thoughts on Marquette's recruiting class and the pieces that they have coming on? They have 4 4-star recruits and 1 5-star recruit in Henry Ellenson.
Yeah, I really think that having Tracy Carter sign, he committed. He didn't sign yet, right? And so, just committed boosted up a lot. I mean, having Nick Niskoyak kind of have that depression issue, we definitely want him to get better and fix out any problems that he has. But having Tracy Carter at a point guard, that's one of those things that we needed. I mean, you don't have Dwayne Wilson taking point,
Thank God.
scoring 30 points as a point guard. We don't want the Russell Westbrook kind of thing. Actually, I would take Russell.
Of course you take Russell
But
Westbrook.
no, I think it moved us up, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah. And so we were 4th.
And then we moved back because of the Skoviak.
Yeah.
And
then we back into the top 10, and I think we were 12.
I think we went to 8.
8? Okay. So now we're back in probably the top 5, just because of or 6-ish. We moved up.
Right. According to those people, Skoviak was better than Tracy Carter.
Yeah. And so I think it's going to help us in the long run. Especially once we talk to Donnie here, I hope that we get some insight.
I just know that when we talk about Marquette basketball this year, it's good to finally move away from the 13 wins we had this season.
We're sounding like the Cubs fans.
Whoa. We never sound like Cubs fans.
Oh, better. We'll be better next year.
We're moving on from this year. We're not saying wait till next year. We're moving on to next year. It's officially over. The 2014-2015 season is over. It's now 2015-2016 we got to talk about.
Oh, okay.
No, Cap, I totally agree with you. I really like that we're moving away from, I want to call them aging veterans, the seniors.
Oh, they're aging veterans.
That have been
have you seen
around
Carlino's hair? He's aging, for sure.
That have
looks
been
like
around
yours.
Yeah. Yikes. But they've been around here for 4 years, and, I've kind of gotten tired hearing, Juan Anderson, Derek Wilson. It's nice, get the Tracy Carters, Ellenson coming in. Hopefully they bring some new energy, some new life to the program, and bring us back to the promise and prestige that we were at before the past couple seasons.
And I think the one thing that I actually liked about having the seniors is that they stayed for 4 years.
True.
But that's saying okay, they're here for 4 years because they're not good enough for the NBA after the first year. You have the whole Kentucky team probably entering the NBA draft after this year. But, that's just one of those things that we recruit for the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
But it was nice, you get the Vanderblues or Todd Mayos, that they leave early. And even Dwayne Wade left early. So, but you're right. We need a little spark and just some, I think we just need a little swag.
Yeah, we do need swag back. This team was swagless.
I remember.
Except for Swaggy D.
Yeah, exactly.
Swagless. I love it.
I like the thing. I went to that UWGB game again. At UWGB
last year.
Yeah, in Green Bay,
because
it was during fall break or something like that. And I went there, and it was
winter break.
No.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yep,
2 years ago. And I went there, and they played country music for the warm up. And the basketball team was just like, wait, what do we do? We do our normal kind of foot in the middle, kind of thing, just trying to be swaggy kind of thing. But no, and they were just so confused. And I think that just kind of killed the vibe back then. So
right, even the pregame song, "Gold on My Chain." Where was that this season?
I think it changed. I don't know. I wasn't there at the beginning of the games. So.
Yeah, I didn't. I
didn't
really make
doing
it
something
either.
else. Busy doing something else.
There.
Well, gentlemen, we
Just
are now
missed it.
joined by the mentor for Tracy Carter and his AAU coach, Donnie Carr. Coach, how are you tonight? Doing well. Thanks for
Very
joining
well.
us, Coach. So you can follow Coach on Twitter at DC Donnie Carr. Coach, Tracy was highly recruited by many top programs in the country. Why did he decide to commit to Marquette in the end?
Hey Donnie, two-part question for you. Can you describe for us what makes up Tracy's game, and what position does he feel the most comfortable playing?
Coach, we know how physically gifted Tracy is on the court, but what is his personality off the court? Is he a talkative guy or more quiet? Kind of just go about his business kind of guy?
He's got swag.
So you're saying he has swag.
And we're visiting with Donnie Carr, Tracy Carter's mentor and AAU coach. You can follow him on Twitter at DC Donnie Carr. Coach, last question for you before we let you go. I'm sure you had a chance to talk to Coach Steve Wojciechowski during the process of recruitment. What do you think of him as a coach and a human being? He is Coach Donnie Carr, the mentor and AAU coach for Tracy Carter. Coach, thanks for spending some time with us tonight, and best of luck with everything in your next season.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks a lot.
Coach Donnie Carr, you can follow him on Twitter at DC Donnie Carr. He is the mentor and AAU coach for Tracy Carter, the newest recruit for Marquette, coming from Life Center Academy out in New Jersey, an East Coast boy coming to Marquette. I think it's something with Tracy Carter. He adds more versatility for this team. This team, if you look at it, maybe next year, maybe sneaks into the NCAA tournament. But 2 years from now, the depth on this team, and you got guys like Juwan as a senior, it's ridiculous how good this team might be. It just boggles my mind, just the depth that you have at every single position. One thing, the only position that there's kind of not really that much depth at next year is the three. And you have Sandy probably starting, and of all people, Wally Ellenson probably being the backup. Just the fact that Tracy Carter adds another dimension to this team that makes it so explosive, if not next year, then the year after that.
Yeah, it sounds, that Coach Carr was saying that Tracy You know, you said it best, Cap. He has a little swag to him. I'm glad
Yeah,
that
we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah,
like,
so-
we needed it.
right. So it sounds like the point guard position will have some of its, I don't know, energy and like spark back character. Because Derek, you know, he wasn't the most exciting player on the court.
I mean, our last
Hey, that dunk. That dunk just got everything going.
after
Yeah.
4 years.
Yeah, but
us
he
hearing crickets from him.
he wasn't he wasn't a scorer. He wasn't that great of like an assist guy. He was just sort of the guy that brought the ball up
He
and
was
dish
there.
it off to another guy.
Sure.
So it sounds, you know, the coach was saying Carter is second gear. You know, he has like eyes in the back of his head, can find guys, and also has like the ability to score. I'm just glad we have some guy with, you know, a little bit of, you know, spark at the point guard position.
Yeah, and that's one thing I was going to touch on, and that's, you know, we were talking about it earlier before we got Coach on, and it was just that we were missing that spark that we had, you know, when we went to the Elite Eight. We had Vander, we had Todd, we had Jamil, we had
Right.
Devontae, we had all those guys that were just kind of the goof troop kind of thing, and I like that because we need to bring it back, because I think this year and probably last year that we were kind of just tense, and we didn't have that guy that just said, "Hey guys, you know, calm down, we got this. Like, just loosen up, you know." And I think we had those games that were so close that everyone tensed up, and
Right.
it was just kind of a hectic kind of situation, and we didn't have that guy that said, "All right, guys, just breathe. This is not we want to play our game," just kind of like Wisconsin does. They just control the tempo of the game, and hence the fact that we scored like 30 points against them and whatnot. So
Yeah, there's really no
Puerto Rico,
identity
isn't it?
to this year's team either. Like,
Hey, Andrew,
maybe
how you
the
doing?
one that comes to mind now is that
Good.
they
We're
played
about
hard
to
and
go to commercial
always
break,
battled
so
with
we're
what they
leaving
had.
about
Yeah.
a minute or two.
But
That's all
I
right.
mean, they didn't really have that
Thanks, Andrew.
like group togetherness that you need for a team to succeed.
yeah, and that's one thing that we're kind of missing, and that's you know, you see around the league, you know, you see alley oops and everything. It's like, how many alley oops did we have this year? Maybe like 2.
Yeah, if I'm struggling to
I
recall.
remember we had at least 2.
Oh, but that was with Deontay. I think.
That was with Deontay, but I think Juan had 1,
Okay.
and it was, you know, whatever. But I think we just need that spark,
Right.
and like we were talking earlier. Nick, what do you think?
No, I think you're right. And going to your alley-oop question, it's how many completed alley-oops that we
Yes,
have compared to how
that's
many
true.
alley-oops
That's
we
true.
have.
That's true.
We're going to take our last commercial break of the evening, and then on the other end, we will be joined by Andrew Greif of the Oregonian, the newspaper out there. He'll be talking about Marcus Mariota and his thoughts on if Mariota can be a productive and elite quarterback in the NFL. This is the Sports Recap on Marquette Radio, marquettewire.org.
Good basketball talk there again. We need more of that, Cap.
Of course.
We also need some more would you rather's. Would you rather.
Sports edition, would you rather?
Hey, come up with some after this.
If we have time, definitely.
Oh, we'll have time.
Oh,
We'll make time. We'll literally just ask them 2 questions.
I think I'm getting picked up like 7:35.
To get picked up and stuff.
Yeah, you get a ride to Valley for your game. Are you an employer now?
Huh?
Are you guys an employer?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
What's that?
What?
Yeah, ask John.
Just keep going. Oh, we're good to go.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm bored, dude. Should I throw a Piscicora in this one? I am.
This is the Sports Recap on Marquette Radio, marquettewire.org. Nick Capitan, Mike Kern, and Chris Sikora. We are now joined by the last guest of the evening, Andrew Greif from the Oregonian. He is the Oregon football beat writer out there. Andrew, how are you tonight? Appreciate you coming on, Andrew. So first question for you tonight is, everybody is asking this question, and everyone seems to be debating it, and it is if Marcus Mariota can make the transition into the NFL and become a productive, possibly elite quarterback. I'll ask you the question that everyone's asking. Do you think with his skill set, it can translate well into the NFL and he can become a productive quarterback?
Andrew, what do you think his ceiling actually is? Do you think he could be one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL if he's in the right system? Right.
We're visiting with Andrew Greif of the Oregonian. He is the Oregon Ducks football beat writer out there. One thing, Andrew, that I'm infatuated with Mariota is who he is as a person. And I was watching the Gruden camp interview that he had, and Gruden was kind of getting into his face a little bit and kind of questioning and yelling at him and kind of stuff. And he still was very calm and collective. Do you think that that personality would help him or hurt him more in the NFL?
Come on.
Andrew, many people are comparing and contrasting him to Jameis Winston, the other quarterback in this draft that is worth talking about. Which player do you think will go number one? Because obviously the Buccaneers are looking for a quarterback, but what is your case for why Mariota should go ahead of Winston? Okay.
Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah. I have a question.
Last question for you, Andrew. If we were talking again 10 years from now, just speculation, in your opinion, where would Mariota be at that time in his NFL career?
He is Andrew Greif, the Oregon beat writer for the Oregonian out in Oregon. Andrew, thanks for your time tonight, and hopefully we can talk with you again soon. You can follow Andrew on Twitter at Andrew Greif. I am infatuated with Marcus Mariota for many reasons. Like we said, one of them being his personality, but also kind of we learned this from Mark Trestman last year when he was head coach.
You learned something from him?
I did.
Oh, wow.
And it was that nice guys don't always translate well in the NFL. Like you could be one of the best offensive coordinators in the league, but because of your personality as a nice guy and letting things go, you could be somebody that doesn't do well when they get into that position. And that's the thing with Mariota. Is he too nice? And I think it's kind of different. As you see with Mariota, the niceness level, and I can't believe we're measuring people on niceness level, but like his niceness doesn't overshadow anything else in his what he does personality-wise or what he does on the field, like what Trestman does on the sidelines with his niceness. And you saw that there were problems in the locker room last year with the Bears and Trestman. I think that Marcus Mariota is going to surprise many people on how productive he is in the NFL.
Well, Andrew said what I thought was really interesting insight, that when, Mariota says all the right things to the right people in front of the cameras and the press, but when he's in the huddle, he's willing, he barks at his teammates, yells at his teammates. And so going back to your niceness point, I mean, sure, I think he's nice in the manners that he should be, but when he gets the football on the huddle, he seems like he's the leader that he needs to be.
And that's one thing that, Andrew was mentioning is that, why Mariota should go in front of Winston. And one of the things is you see more of Mariota's balls go into the stands. They're not entering, they're not going into, the defense's hands.
Sure.
He's not turning the ball over.
I get what you're saying.
And, I mean, he had he said like 4 or 5 interceptions.
Yeah.
I think Winston had at least like 18.
Well, he
just
had,
in 1 year.
6 in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
That's his personality coming to fruition. Is you see that with how Mariota is more of the I don't care if I don't get the accolade. So even in the game that translates to him throwing it out of bounds instead of forcing in the coverage with Jameis, it's I want the attention. I want to be the guy, so I'm going to pass it into coverage. And it's kind of like Jay Cutler.
It just kind of like Jay Cutler, but kind of like an older Brett Favre.
Sure.
The gunslinger, try and fit it in the tight pocket, kind of thing, and it would just piss me off during the playoffs, against the Giants or something. I mean, being a Packer fan, it was just you would pray to God that he would just not throw an interception.
Such a struggle being a Packer
I can
fan.
relate to that.
Yeah, exactly. I want to thank a lot of people for the show today. For, of course, my co-hosts, Mike Kern and Chris Sikora. For our guest today, Kent Babb of the Washington Post. Cody Fajardo for the great interview he provided us, the NFL draft prospect. Donnie Carr, the mentor for Tracy Carter. And Andrew Greif, the Oregon beat writer for the Oregonian. For all those folks, I am Nick Capitan.
I got one thing.
Yes, before we get off.
Go Admirals. They have a game Saturday. Foreigner is playing after, so get your tickets.
Who are they playing? Do you know who they're playing?
They're playing the Texas Stars.
Oh.
I know, right? Watch out.
I also plug into the defending Interval champion Stoolies are playing Thursday night, 8 p.m. at Valley Fields. You want to come out and watch some real football.
The offensive line are just the best looking men I've ever seen in my life. Me and Sikora. Fantastic. For all those folks, I am Nick Capitan. The Sports Recap actually comes back tomorrow from 12 to 1:30. We'll be joined by a bunch of people that actually have to relate to the NCAA tournament. Some play-by-play guys, some head coaches, former head coaches, and some former players For everybody, this is Nick Capitan signing off. The Sports Recap of Marquette Radio, MarquetteWire.org. DPS is always watching. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Don't get hit by a drunk driver like I did 4 years ago.
That's a good song. Where does this all, chill? Well, you waited till a good point where you said, I got hit by a drunk driver and you threw it in there. I respect that. That's a good plug right there. Simulcast, gotta turn it off. Good show.
Simulcast!
I can't wait to watch me when I start cracking up.
You're not in the